Amanda, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but Corey actually just left the meeting again. I think that he thought he wasn't in the right spot, but I could see his picture and everything and I could hear him, but I don't think he could hear me. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay. Do you want to text Corey and let him know he was in the correct place? I'm not sure why he couldn't hear me.
Happy to.
Sorry, everyone. Thank you so much for being patient. It looks like Corey just joined us again. Perfect.
Okay. Sorry, I was in and out. We changed computers. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready?
I think we're ready to go.
Hey.
Can everybody see our agenda?
Yep, it is up on the screen. So, and I'm missing all of your faces, fabulous employee council members. So happy to see you here this evening. I hope you're doing well. We have a lot of opportunity to have you give feedback today regarding a variety of topics and anything else that comes up. Knowing that, as a district, we're here to serve and support you and all the rest of our employees, and our goal of ensuring we have the best working environment and the most optimal opportunities for staff and students. With that, I'd love to welcome Corey Wise, our interim superintendent, who will share a welcome, and then he'll join me in some of our input sessions as well. Corey, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks, Amanda. Hey, as a former employee council member, I just appreciate your commitment. Thanks for being a part of this and spending the extra time and giving your input. It's an important process, and especially this year where time is of so much value. I just want to say thank you for your commitment. Most of you, I think, I hopefully know a little bit, and those of you who don't know me, I have been a part of Douglas County for 25 years, student taught, became an assistant principal and then principal, and I'm humbled to be in this role. So don't repeat other things I've said, but I just want you to know I believe in Douglas County. I love Douglas County. I want us to have the pride, not only in the work that we do, but in our school district as a whole. So I'm humbled. I'm excited. I'm enjoying the work to build our voice and build us together. So just a little bit cheesy, a little bit corny. That's who I am a little bit. But I want you to know who I am. So I've also lived in Douglas County for 25 years. I'm a native, grew up in Aurora, but my whole adult career has been here in Douglas County and Parker. I have a daughter who graduated last year, and she's off in college in Florida, and I have a younger daughter who is a junior in high school at Legend. So I'm a parent and a longtime resident and a longtime employee. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Wise. So as you know, Employee Council is, we really value that opportunity to offer feedback and gather your perspective, one from your lens and two as represented by your employee group. Knowing that this group is one snapshot of feedback along with many other opportunities for our employees and other groups and committees that we have. So we'll start with our first feedback item that we encourage every employee group to participate in. And I will try and balance out all the voices to ensure that we have opportunity for people to share. As you know, we typically do use the raise your hand method so that we can unmute you and have you share out. Thanks to Kathy Franklin from HR. She's going to be taking notes so that we can refer back to them and ensure we're capturing your feedback for sharing with Mr. Wise and other individuals, as we want to always support and enhance what we do in Douglas County. So with that, we have snow days. So, we recently had a snow day, and this topic was on here even before that weather forecast came in. And so we wanted to take the opportunity to see what feedback you have regarding the concept of offering snow days, We do have current language in our employee guide about that. And then we do know that, there's been a lot of talk out in the metro area just around various options for what that could look like in the future. Mr. Wise, did you want to share more information? I know that you are in close collaboration with superintendents across the state.
Yeah. Not too many times where you have your first snow day, your first day of snow on the job, and it becomes a snow day. So, I think as you look at this, as we look at different districts and as Denver metro area superintendents talk, we want your opinion. And, I have some of my own opinions, but I think it's important we get feedback. Snow days are important. We will continue to have snow days, but we are thinking about and leaning towards how do we do this as a system? And we might break this up a little bit. For instance, you could do levels. There's times where a certain age group might have a snow day and an upper age group might need to work remotely from afar. There's times where with instructional minutes, certain levels have different needs than others. We, as a whole, are working with principals that we do not want to extend days. So if we get past our capacity of snow days and instructional minutes, that we might want to use those to work remotely. That to me makes a lot of sense. And working with principals makes a lot of sense, but just want feedback as we go to say, we do value snow days. We do value you, and sometimes we need a break. We also now can work a little bit differently. And would it make sense to have a tiered system, possibly a leveled system in which some might have official snow days and some might work remotely, depending on the circumstance, situation, and all those mitigating factors. So that's really the launch, a question to you. And just love to have your input.
Thank you. So individuals, please, employee council members, we value you. We welcome you to share your thoughts. And, for those that aren't aware, for the instructional side of the house, for our schools, and as it pertains to our students, there are a particular number of instructional minutes students need to have at any particular time during the year. So that's why there's that balance in the language about current snow day and snow day pay, et cetera. Thoughts? What thoughts do you have? I want to see those hands raised. Here we go. Vera. Hi, Vera. Great. I can't wait to hear your voice.
Hi, good to see you, Amanda.
Hey.
So as a teacher at a high school and a mother of a 15-year-old high school student, I know that my son really enjoys those snow days. And when they have, he's had several weeks where he's had to stay completely at home due to COVID. And those are very, very stressful days for him to have that online learning. So I know he prefers to be in person. And as a teacher, I prefer to have my students in person. So we really like the snow days where we don't have to worry about being at home learning or teaching. So those are just my thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you. We have recorded your thought. Laura, how are you, Laura?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm good. Thanks, Amanda. I would have said before we actually had this snow day that it would have been great to do from home. And if we were hybrid, I think I'm in an elementary school. So I would think if we were hybrid, a snow day would be relatively easy to teach from home if we were already doing that half and half. But this particular week, when I had lesson plans for the week, or at least for Monday, when it was the snow day, and everything I needed, every book, every paper, every crafty thing, every maker space, all of it was at school, I couldn't have easily transferred those plans to home day plans. So if we were to do that, I would have had to come up with something else at the last minute. So I don't know for elementary schools, if we're not already in a hybrid system where we could adjust something they have at home for something, like we could trade the Tuesday for the Monday or whatever and readjust, then it would work. But I do not think when we are full face-to-face, a snow day would work to just say, hey, let's have a virtual day.
Thank you for that. So I'm hearing two layers from you. One is it makes it difficult to be able to switch to remote sometimes without notice, depending upon when that weather comes in, without having those ample resources and preparation for the remote teaching. And two, if the schedule looked a particular way, perhaps there could be a swap of days to replace that. Did we capture that correctly?
That is correct.
Thank you. Great to hear you both.
And if I can jump in really quick, Amanda, you both hit some great things on the head. Part of the reason in thinking this, even for snow days, is to value people, then also make sure we're prepared. You know, it's one thing to say we're work remotely, but we haven't planned for it and prepared for it. It does not work well. So you hit a lot of our topics that we've discussed. Reality at the high school level, we're tighter when it comes to full instructional minutes. So we had our first now snow day in October. We roughly have about 2 snow days, and then we have to start looking at instructional minutes at the high school level. So as we get into more snow days, that's where we might have to make sure we plan better and are prepared in case we need to do that, because we'll weigh out different options to cover those minutes at a different time. But I think the last thing anybody wants to do is add in more days in June. So I think in each of those, if we had to use remote, it would probably be at the high school level only, because that's where we're tightest in time, but we'd have to build up preparation. So the elementary level, age appropriate, effectiveness of time and everything else, you hit a lot on the head of what we've discussed to try to prepare and plan and think about this. So thank you. It's validating and also great to hear more information. So keep bringing it. Love it.
Thank you. Christine.
Hi, I teach middle school, and I think my worry is the communication piece with families and kids, because if only half of them decide it's not a snow day and they have to work, whatever we teach that day really would be for naught, and we'd have to do it again anyways. So I think that if communication can be really, really clear and the expectations clear, we could do remote, but otherwise, I'm not sure it would be successful.
Thank you. Adriana.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, yes.
So since I'm in preschool, I'm just going to bring the play-based perspective. And I would say that snow days offer incredible developmental value, at least for our younger ones, not just preschool, but elementary. You know, there's something to be said for sledding and building a snowman and, you know, making snow angels and having that experience with this, you know, weather that we have here in Colorado. So even though kids might not be in school, I don't think that we can discount the developmental value that comes from a snow day.
Thank you for that. I had a kiddo who went through a play-based kindergarten, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Terry, how are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I am going to piggyback on just what the last speaker said, is you're only a kid once, and the memories made on a snow day are unforgettable. And because we live where we live, I think we should take advantage of them. I am an e-learning teacher, so I would like to do a plug for e-learning kids experiencing snow days as well. I just feel like if they're inside learning and the neighbor kids are outside playing, that's just not what those e-learner kids will do, or not what they deserve or will enjoy. And I also understand the whole minutes thing. So, you know, I don't have a problem with if we hit an excess number of snow days, then we can look to something else. But I do believe that snow days are one of the things that we do in Colorado, and it should continue.
Thank you for your feedback. Any other thoughts? So I'm looking at we've heard from our licensed staff, a lot of our licensed staff. Thank you so much. We have administrators. We want to hear your voice. I know you represent a large group of individuals. We've got our classified and pro-tech individuals. Please share from your perspective. It can be from the parent perspective and also in your role and what that means for you, snow day versus remote. Peter, thanks so much, Peter. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing very good. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
My 2 cents in regards to snow days is, first of all, I think it was an excellent choice that you made across the board, including e-learners. there's an imbalance there if you have snow days or part of the staff of Douglas County and part of the staff is still working, first of all. And to the previous speaker, yeah, that would be kind of tough for the e-learner still has to do classes on a snow day for the rest of the district. Yeah, it's just not smart. But the main thing that I agree with having snow days is really the safety concern that I have for my staff as well as the students. Of course, Corey, your first day on the job, making that call, that's always, you're always going to have people that celebrate your choice and people that will, from the, I guess, quarterback from the couch on maybe you should not have. But safety is, I think, the number one priority when it comes to those snow days. And always, I think, one of the number one things that should be driving that decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jen Pfeiffer, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
So just from kind of a nutrition services perspective, all the days when students are remote, nutrition service staff are in kitchens working, building meal bags for our pickups. So I worry about a little bit of confusion on if everybody else gets to stay home. But on remote days, again, we're used to working. So would our staff feel like they're needing to get to their sites to build meal bags and to be working for the next day if it's not truly a district closure? That messaging could just get a little bit confusing, or they feel like everybody else gets to be home while they are expected to still be working or something like that. So just a perspective from us.
Very much. Other staff. We have so many employee groups represented, so many different job types represented on employee council. Thoughts from the group? We've got individuals represented at Wilcox. We have various other buildings as well. Please share. Any other thoughts? Okay, well, thank you for that. As always, you're welcome to reach out to Shauna if something comes your way in the, in the morning or during a different time, and we can add that thinking to our input information. So thank you for that. The second piece that we're going to go into is COVID Check Colorado. So as you know, we provide COVID testing for our employees based upon what employee group you're in, but all employees have that opportunity to test. And one is a bit of an FYI and one is getting your feedback. The first piece is starting next week, it's been shared that the Echo Park service hours through that testing site will start to be limited to more of a, not a during the day, but a before and after or toward the end of the day to evening hours, thinking more of the accommodation of that work day. So the hours are on the agenda. I'll just say Tuesday and Thursday, those are from 2:30 to 5, and then Friday 7 to 8 a.m. We're going to continue to monitor usage. We're going to continue to monitor, is that enough hours and so forth. So please let us know if you're hearing anything, good or bad, that we need to think about and keep doing or continue or consider adjusting. The other piece is they are inquiring if we would like to utilize mobile testing sites. So looking at providing mobile testing sites in the Highlands Ranch region and the Castle Rock region, knowing that not every individual can get out to Echo Park to do that. And the effort is to ensure we have accessibility for our employees for that. So we want to get your thoughts. I know that Ms. Ingalls, who helps lead this organization of all of this, and we're grateful for that. She couldn't be here, but she really wanted to ensure she was hearing what your feedback was regarding that. Thoughts around adding mobile testing sites and anything else around COVID Check that you want us to be aware of in terms of testing? Jen.
Sorry, me again. I emphatically support mobile testing sites. I think that a lot of our staff do have difficulty getting to that one site, even as convenient as it is for some of us. Some of our staff have limited hours, and then they got to pick their kids right up from school as soon as they get off work and may not have the time. And I think based on some of the board meetings that I've watched, it seems like that free testing has been severely underutilized, in my opinion, from staff. And I wonder if it's just the accessibility, whereas if you stick it a bus right out front of their school, I think you could get a lot more people potentially utilizing it and hopefully catch some of these asymptomatic cases before it becomes an issue, especially potentially prioritizing maybe our secondary schools that have definitely struggled with that a lot more. I think you could have a lot higher utilization.
Thank you for that bit of feedback. And just a tidbit of information from the benefits department perspective. We do know that we have other opportunities as well, and maybe it's just the timing of accessibility through COVID check, but we do know that Kaiser members are utilizing the Kaiser resource as well as Cigna members with theirs. And then we have community testing resources as well offered through Tri-County. So, and we see that everybody's using a bit of each. So, but yes, this COVID Check Colorado mobile site is in the goal to make it a little bit easier for people. Other thoughts? Okay, I'm going to take no information as good information, but if you have any further thoughts, let me know. Let Shauna know. Our next topic is involving gathering your feedback around options for second semester learning models. Mr. Wise, did you want to share a little bit about our current state? I know communication is going out or will have soon gone out, and kind of where we're at, and then we can ask you what your needs are and what you want us to know.
Yeah, so we are taking a look at e-learning and e-learning returning into our school practice or keeping it as is. We took obviously a lot of work to look at budget costs, cost savings, what would be the best decision. I appreciate the time that principals and teachers took in sharing and being understanding and but giving feedback. So we did communicate out with both elementary and middle school principals, and we just sent communication sometime around 3:30, I believe it went out. I'd have to go back and check exactly, but just sharing that e-learning will continue as it is. Now, there are students that are selecting where they want to be. So in that process, students are shifting, so staffing could shift. So we're trying to communicate with parents that there's a chance teachers may change. There's times where numbers will go down and we have to shift and we have to look appropriately, but we'll be working with the learning administration, the teachers involved, the principals and HR to make sure we work with each individual and try to do our best to make those fit. We want to create stability. We want to put people in the best spots where they want to be. But as you know, anytime you vote a schedule, there's a lot of variables, and we'll be working personally over next week and the week after to make that happen. So that's kind of the overview. And if you have questions or comments, we'd love to hear those.
Thank you. Amy.
Hello. I just had a quick question. I know high school and elementary and middle school, we're all kind of working on different systems. So I just am curious about the high school model right now. We've taken all of those e-learners back. We're also supporting that by paying content coaches and some other money that we're giving to teachers who are live streaming, things like that. So is it my understanding that that's continuing, or are we just talking about the elementary middle school model?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have made assumptions. That is continuing.
Okay.
So we're working with high school principals. I think high school principals have gotten feedback and continue to look at ways about what are we doing, what are minor tweaks. I don't want to get into what each school might do, but that that process of how we're providing e-learning at the high school level and trying to value the extra time and work in a different model is continuing. Yes. Great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So around that concept of, you know, continuing a similar model that we've got now, what are the needs out there? What do you want us to be aware of in terms of the needs that you have around continuing in second semester? This can kind of lead naturally into the strategies that the district, that leadership, that schools, et cetera, can provide to support. You know, what may we do to offer support for you? What can that look like? What do you need in regards to feeling successful? We know everyone's working hard. We know it's a new and different method of teaching and learning, and it's a different kind of taxing, satisfying, but hard. And so what can we do to support you? What would that look like? All you have to do is just raise your hand. If you're in a licensed category, admin, classified pro tech, this model is impacting everyone and looks different for all of us this year. So what would support look like? Christine.
I don't know if this is possible, but maybe sort of a handbook for kids and parents about how to handle the at-home days, expectations, routines, just kind of like an overall, because I feel like there's a whole like range of responses to doing school at home, and maybe something kind of set out for parents would be helpful.
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you very much. Laura. I think I unmuted the wrong person. Laura.
All right.
There you go.
There we go. I think I unmuted myself at the same time you unmuted me.
Okay.
I don't know what, but anyway, two things I want to say with regard to the last comment. Yes, I had at the elementary level, I had so many parents ask me how they get their child to adapt to home learning. And to them, that's not what you do when you're home. So it was a really, I mean, we had tons of suggestions about finding a special place and fixing it up and doing these different things and putting your Chromebook there or whatever it was. But it is really hard for elementary kids to adapt to that concept that now school is at home. So yes, some kind of parent information on that end would be great. And the other thing I had is really just a comment along this line, which is we've all known, teachers, admin, everybody's known for many, many years that class size makes a huge difference. So when we had hybrid at the elementary level, even though they were only coming every other day, it was so much easier to meet individual needs. It could, when I had 12 kids in a class, I could differentiate so much easier. My low kids who cry over every little thing and need help did not need to wait nearly as long to be helped. And then when I had all of them back together, then when I have 24 and somebody says, help me from across the room, it takes longer for me to help them. So with regard to what we need for support, that's not anything that can be fixed overnight. It's something we've known for a long time, but I just think the acknowledging that yes, class size makes a difference. So in the long run, wouldn't it be great if we could really meet all our students' needs?
Thank you. So I hear a theme of looking at teacher-student ratio might be a long-term thing in order to ensure timeliness and accessibility of support for kids. Thank you. Other ideas? How can we support you? What can that look like? What could be implemented, provided to support you in your role under this model of school and services for schools this year? Vera.
I was chatting with the secretary at our high school, and she has a son at the same high school that my son is at. And she was really upset that she was assuming or heard that if we went to Canvas, that everything would be identical, the way things were run, the way things were set up on Canvas, and it would be easier for students to access it than it was with Google Classroom. And she was upset that it wasn't. And I'm not sure if parents understand that you've got different teachers, and just because they are different people, they have a different way of running their class, their expectations, and that's gonna be expressed in Canvas, that everything is not gonna be identical. And I was just wondering if there's a way that somehow we can share that with teachers. Yes, we left Google Classroom. People were hearing that Canvas was gonna make it easier, things more identical, more accessible, and this secretary was not seeing that and was very angry that it hadn't been fulfilled. So I don't know how we would do that, but I could see she was very upset that things weren't going according to how she thought they would go with going from Google Classroom to Canvas.
Thank you for that bit of feedback. And as always, you know, as an employee council member, it sounds like you're a great support, but they are always welcome to reach out, and we can, you know, help get their feedback to the right people so that we can ensure we're supporting her as a parent as well. Thank you.
Yeah, and you know, anytime you look at learning management systems, you're right. When you have multiple ones, it's a little bit different. Even when you have the same one, how we build up level of training, level of efficiency, it's hard work. It's a heavy lift, and it takes some time. So on each of those, I think each school could probably even go back and say, okay, where are we now? Where do we want to go? Get feedback from our parents, our students, and our teachers on those things, because this is a year like we've never had. But on that side of it, I do think that go back and check-in process. So to have her call that principal, just share a little bit. It's one person's feedback. It's okay to do that, and it helps us to remember to go back and just take a look of where are we now and where do we want to get to. We might be we're in a good spot. Might be, hey, let's go back and see what else we need to do.
Thank you for that. So I'm hearing a review or a consideration of feedback around the systems we use for teaching and learning. Thank you. Deb, thanks for being patient.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Okay, sorry. So I know that there's been a lot of change across the level. I think just with what is happening with all the COVID cases and then, you know, switching into quarantine and then coming back, and teachers have done just an amazing job of dealing with all that and working through all that. And at the elementary level, we're dealing with now kids who go into quarantine, but their class isn't in quarantine. So how do we support them during that time? So really working on working through some of those problems. The one thing that really has seemed to really tip us over the edge is this READ Act service hours, the 45 hours that K through 3 teachers have to do. And I don't know if as a district, if there's any more ways that we might be able to advocate for getting an extension on those times. Some of my teachers have started trying to take some of those classes. They're very difficult. They're very time consuming. It's not that they don't want to do it. It's just that one more piece has really put us over. A lot of teachers is really, it's been a lot. So I would advocate for whatever we can do on a state level to get an extension.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to jump in if that's okay, Amanda. Yeah. That's a great topic. I since jumping into this role, I've been a part of the DASC, the Denver Area Superintendent's Council, and it's superintendents from Greeley down throughout the entire metro area, including Douglas County. We actually just last week crafted a letter and all signed off on it and sent to the State Board of Education. In that process, we learned that some of the school districts down south and out east of us crafted one. So we actually took theirs and signed off on both to send to the State Department of Education, the State Board, to do just that. We were actually advocating for two things. One, to be more flexible and create more time around the READ Act credit requirements, and two, to take a look at the flexibility of state assessments. So I want you to know that as a group of superintendents, and that's, Cherry Creek, Littleton, Jeffco, Douglas County, and like I said, DPS, Aurora, all the way up to Greeley down, and then the other school districts have tried to now write and start to influence. They had their meeting today. They don't have public comments the way their meeting structures are going, but our letter was read, and Scott Siegfried, superintendent of Cherry Creek, actually was in that meeting to be able to read and be a part of our letter representing all of us. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. I don't know what's going to happen from that, but hopefully it influences and creates better understanding and maybe changes that a little bit.
How about that? That was fast. What a fast response, and thinking a couple steps ahead. So thank you for that feedback. And yes, that does definitely make sense. Any other thoughts as, please think of you in your particular roles. This is a conversation around instruction and supports for our school-based individuals, but this is also a conversation around how we can support all employees in your role. So each of you have different roles, and we encourage you. We've got classified staff, pro tech on as well. How can we support you? What are some of the struggles, and what are some ideas for solutions of how we can find creative ways to support our employees? We have one of our licensed staff, Adriana.
Yeah, hi. So I work at the preschool level, and the conversation around the READ Act just got me thinking about our own assessment that we use at our level. It's called Teaching Strategies Gold, and it has just been extraordinarily challenging. This is typically an assessment system that we use to monitor. Oh, sorry, all my kiddos just came in with their costumes on. You guys look great. So, typically we monitor kids and just watch them and collect anecdotes as they're playing, and trying to do this when we have 25 tiny boxes on a screen, or when we're trying to deliver IEP services and we're trying to collect, all of this data in these other areas has been just extraordinarily challenging. Again, I think that comes down from, the early childhood component of, I don't know if it's CDE or DHS, but I don't know if there's a way to advocate in the same way as the READ Act to, look at how we can modify or provide some exemptions around this, because it's been incredibly challenging.
Yeah. And, the challenges here keep coming. We also, I know it's happening every day, how we go about checking in with each student, seeing where they are. We know we can't replicate what happens in a normal year, but how we help students grow, have readiness levels, focus on what's most important, focus on the social emotional piece, and it's different for each individual how we are facing this, because it's challenging for everyone involved. So yeah, that's great input. That PK-12 process and looking at all of it, I appreciate you throwing out there. It's a great point to remind, and good point.
Thank you. We have that suggestion down, and we can utilize these notes to follow up with the heads of, the individuals of our leaders here in the district who would help support our options around that. So thank you. Any other thoughts? What about our friends at district offices? Anything else we can do to support and provide to help you and help support the environment in a second semester? No? Okay, well, again, please provide that feedback. We got some feedback from one of our employee council members, and thank you to that person, to provide that open space for any other topic, any other trends, any other themes that you see coming out that you want us to have on our radar, be aware of, get ahead of. Is there anything out there that you want us to be aware of that we can better support in or just be aware of? Glenn, are you there? Hi, oh, Glenn, let me unmute you. I think you may have to use your microphone, Glenn, to unmute. Hi, Dr. Kirby.
There we are. Yeah, we in O&M, we've run into a few challenges, and I don't know what's the best way to deal with it, but other than communication, of course. But we are arriving at some of the schools and not being aware of actually being cases of COVID that were there, and walking into classrooms that were set up to be cleaned or were in the process of being cleaned. And we have guys arrive very, very early to try to get in and get things done before the students and staff get there. So the guys have asked, is there a possibility to get emails out so we're aware of the schools that do have it? Or is that going to be overwhelming the system with emails?
Okay. Thank you for that bit of feedback. Mr. Wise may have some information, but I'll just share that in terms of cleaning protocols and mitigation protocols around the space when it comes to quarantining and positive cases. Our O&M department, as you know, is very responsive, and I can say working literally into the night and into the early hours of the morning in order to prepare environments for the next day. I would say that's something definitely we can talk to Mr. Cosgrove about, of what our options are. It may not be something that, you know, would be a widespread email for various confidentiality purposes, but perhaps a notice posted in that area or upon entry to the school. Mr. Wise, any other thoughts around that?
Yeah, you're hitting a topic that we're trying to find better solutions and ways to communicate. Right now, as you're coming in, Amanda said it well. We are, as you all know, I mean, this is 24/7, 7 days a week working on quarantine and COVID. That's people are grinding. People are extending themselves and the time and effort it takes. How we get that out to the right people or all people and in the changing environment, that's, I mean, as I sit here, I'm getting texts of new cases and then that'll create then cleaning pieces. We're working on how to do that well. So I love the idea. Sharing with Rich your experience. I think each of our departments is kind of unique also about what are your experiences, what could work, because your system and your department might be different than someone else. But yeah, we're trying to brainstorm ideas of how we handle all this and the workload, and then how we communicate well to track and communicate well to make people aware, because we do have, yes, when I'm out in buildings and that sort of thing. So I think in all those times, I can't give a great answer. We're working on it. We're getting better, but love ideas, because the more ideas, then maybe the better solutions we'll get and keep improving on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn. Any other thoughts, needs, items to bring up for our awareness? Okay, I don't think so. Well, please know you always can reach out to me, and always any of the leaders in HR, along with many of the various members of our cabinet. We are here to serve and support, and we can't thank you enough, regardless of the role you're in, all that you're doing to make this as successful of a year as possible. And we're entering that season of even busyness on the personal side with holidays. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of your loved ones. We are in the service of helping others, but you have to make sure you take care of yourself as well. Mr. Wise, any other closing thoughts before we close out the meeting?
No, you know what? Going back to the beginning, thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for your time. And then most importantly, thanks for jumping off mute and sharing. All feedback is important. Hearing multiple perspectives, different perspectives. Being a part of this district for a long time, we take pride in our individual schools and we take pride in our departments, but I mean this, we need to get back to being able to share ideas and having great dialogue and discussions and countering viewpoints and build back to where we want to go and have pride in what Douglas County is and what we're about. And so I just look forward to partnering with all of you. It's a daunting process as big as we are, but I am a people person and want to get out and listen. And those of you that I don't know, spend time to get to know you. So like Amanda said, we're available. We have extensions of us in different roles, and just know that your principals, your department leaders, your directors, or whatever those titles might be, are to be extensions of us and extensions of you. So we need to decrease that gap. We need to communicate better, be more proactive, assume positive. So those action statements are very important. And I hope to model that, and I hope that you'll model it with me. So thank you. Thanks for letting me be a part of this. And I know I can talk a lot, but it's because I care about what I do and I care about this district. So thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Very much, Mr. Wise. And for our employee council members, if you have any needs or requests for topics for our next agenda for November, please let us know. If not, I wish you a great evening. Get home to your loved ones, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.